Hello, this is Bill Steffen. I am back from Mackinac Island, back on the three-season porch here at my house. And I had a great time up there. Probably one of the most exciting things I saw was a cool flash of lightning. They actually had a small thunder shower come through. Didn't get a whole lot of rain. I think the heavy rain lasted about 45 seconds up there, and that was about it. But great vacation going up there and back for a few days. All right, let's take a look right now at our slide here for the Ottawa News Network. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Got a lot to talk to. I got a picture from Mackinac Island. We did so many neat things up there, and one of the things we did was take a bike ride around the perimeter of the island. We did that last time I was up there, but we walked the 8.2 miles, and this time we rode bicycles. There was a big crowd up there, so you had to kind of watch where you were going. Then we go on to the next slide here. I think I got a picture to show you that. There we are. Now that's actually, we stopped with the bicycles and got up where the arch is, if you're familiar with that. And that's my wife, Gail, and I, and looking out over the waters there. I don't know if you've seen that shirt. That's one of the many weather-related T-shirts I have. It says, "I love meteorology and cats." Isn't that a great combination for me? I have, let's see, 1, 2, 2. Are you still down there, Joy? I think we got all three cats out here on the three-season porch. They miss us when we're gone, and they're usually there to greet us when we open the door again. This picture was taken on Friday. And on the way back, we stopped at Otsego Lake. I'd never seen that lake before. It's a pretty good-sized lake, kind of interesting. My wife, by the way, has a picture of a moose on a bicycle, and that has some special meaning for us as well. Here's some of the rainfall reports from Saturday. Not much, about a quarter of an inch at Kalamazoo and Mecosta, which is, of course, up in Mecosta County. 1,700 Sedashtamo, that's just west of Kalamazoo. And a little less than a tenth of an inch at Battle Creek. Battle Creek always gets rain, at least that's how it goes this year. Muskegon, just 300, just a trace of rain, one sprinkle in Grand Rapids was all we could muster. That picture over on the right is storm total rainfall. It's not the greatest picture. The TV station's images are a little bit better at showing where that would be, but you can see that little blue area there north of Hillsdale. That area had more than a quarter of an inch, and those areas in the lightest color didn't get any rain at all. So interesting. Okay, let's move on. Take a look at high temperatures. Ionia topping the list today at 83, and Mount Pleasant at 83. Grand Rapids topped out at 81. That's the last time we'll see 80 this week. It may come close late in the week here, but certainly cooler weather on the way. Fremont, Holland Airport at 78, Muskegon Airport at 77. But on the pier at Muskegon, highest temperature was 72, same for the Holland Beach. So just a couple degrees cooler if you were over by the lakeshore there. And that's an interesting picture. That's the Muskegon Channel at sunset. That's from the Gluro camera Saturday evening. Look at all the boats in the channel. Wow. I mean, that's about as many as I think I've ever seen. Going in and out, quite a parade of boats enjoying a rather beautiful day. A lot of them didn't go quite out into the lake. They kind of stayed behind the breakwall because it was pretty breezy out there, and it got kind of choppy as the day went on. Holland State Park reported on their Facebook page, and it's nice that they do this, by the way. They reported the waves were up to 4 feet or higher by late in the day. Okay, take a look at our sunrise and sunset time. Sunset now comes at 8:30, and in another couple of weeks, it'll be close to 8 o'clock. So we're really losing daylight here at a pretty fair clip. Sunrise pretty close to 7 o'clock, giving us 13 hours and 32 minutes of daylight. Average low temperature has dipped another one. We're down to 80 and 60 right now, but still very pleasant. Record high for the day, 98, and the record low, 40. And look there were 4 instances where there was a record high or low temperature, and all of them were in the 1940s, between 1942 and 1948. So that's when the temperature swings happened here on August 24th. Okay, let's take a look at the lake forecast here, and this is important. I highlighted in red, we have a small craft advisory for the day today and a beach hazard statement. And you can see the water temperatures there. First of all, probably not many people want to go swimming when the water temperatures are that cool. Even Reed's Lake, Inland Lake, has cooled off a little bit here. But whenever you get windy conditions out on Lake Michigan, don't jump off or swim near the piers and breakwaters because currents develop along those piers and breakwaters. So it's interesting. I've explained this before, but a pier is like the piers they have in the ocean. Technically, what we have here in the Great Lakes is breakwalls or breakwaters, they're sometimes called. And what they do is they stop the water. The water can't get underneath the breakwall. And so it develops a current as the water hits that breakwater and then goes around it as it continues on its merry way. So again, no jumping off the piers today and no swimming near those piers and breakwaters. All right. And by the way, at the top, there are 3 to 6 foot waves and west to northwest winds, 15 to 25 knots here today. And knot is a nautical mile per hour. That means we could see some gusts as high as about 28 or 29 miles an hour. All right, we're going to take a little moment here and thank one of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Well, we're not anticipating any severe weather here in our area today, but there is a little curl over Lake Michigan where we could see some instability showers or even thunder showers develop as the cooler air comes over the warmer water of Lake Michigan. Most of Lake Michigan is warmer than the Michigan shore is, where we've had some upwelling. There could also be a water spout or two on Lake Michigan. If you get a picture of that and you'd like to let us show that to everybody, please send that along to us, or any weather phenomenon like that. Here's a look at the threat for Monday and Monday night, and you can see that there's really very little chance of thunderstorms over probably half the country, including lower Michigan, though I would still put the chance of a shower, thunder shower, or lake instability here at about 20%. Look at all the entire state of Arizona has a chance of a thunder shower here on Monday. Same for Nevada, which is the driest state in the United States is Nevada. And look at how it goes all the way to the Pacific Ocean, that area around Eureka, up into Medford, Oregon there, and even up into Seattle and Portland. That would be pretty unique to get thunder showers there. It doesn't happen very often, but we'll be tracking it. Okay, let's go on here and take a look at who's going to see some rain. Quite a bit of rain falling from eastern Colorado into western Arkansas, not a lot of severe weather. It almost looks like a fish, that yellow outline right there. You can also see some heavy rain falling on the west coast of Florida. So that's interesting. And look at out in the west, the areas that are going to see rain, as I mentioned before, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, pretty amazing. And you can see it. Let's zoom into Michigan a little bit here. Over the next several days, there is a chance of a shower, not a lot of rain. Most areas seeing anywhere from nothing where it's white colored there on the map. The first light green color is up to 1/10 of an inch, and then it goes up to about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch in areas from about Manistee up to Traverse City. So that's who's going to see rain over the next several days. On we go, taking a look up next, and we have a tropical update for you. Hurricane Aaron, we have followed that for the last 2 weeks, or almost 2 weeks. That threaded the needle, went north of the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and went east of the United States and west of Bermuda. Now we have a new tropical storm to talk about. Aaron, by the way, is a windy low pressure center which is heading toward Iceland, Ireland, and England. Great Britain. Fernando, you can see the path of that on the right, and it will once again miss areas that are inhabited land areas. It stays out over the water. It looks like it passes to the east of Bermuda and again heads off toward the northeast, toward England and Great Britain. And that next yellow X or orange X down there heading into the Caribbean we'll keep an eye on, but at present, no more than a 50-50 chance of that developing into a storm. Now we go to the to the Eastern Pacific next here. And as you can see, we've got a red X. That's a good chance of a tropical storm developing. And this one would be called Juliet with 2 E's and 2 T's. And this looks like it'll be far enough offshore to miss the Mexican coastline. So that's pretty good. And if we go to the Western Pacific Ocean, there is one tropical storm, this one called Kajiki, and it is going to be heading into Vietnam, northern part of the country of Vietnam. It may be a minimal hurricane. In any case, it's going to produce some heavy rain and flooding there, and probably some strong gusty winds, but not a real devastating hurricane for them. You can see the white thunder showers in parts of Africa there. Southern Africa, yet another sunny, clear day, and much of Australia seeing sunshine as well, where it is winter in the southern hemisphere. Okay, we move on and take a look at the forecast here for today. Partly sunny skies expected. An isolated shower is possible. Cooler temperatures pretty much all this week. And don't forget that beach hazard statement, small craft advisories as well for Lake Michigan. Today's forecast looks like this. Temperatures will be cooler, only in the low 70s here this afternoon. Low temperatures in the early morning, mid 50s. About a 30% chance of a shower, not a lot of rain with that, mainly coming during the afternoon. West to northwest winds get pretty breezy here for a while, 15 to 20 miles an hour. Cool air coming across warm water makes bigger waves than what we would have in the spring with warm air coming over cool water. So that's just an interesting little tidbit of physics. Okay, let's take a look at some high temperatures across the area today. We're calling for the low 70s in most inland areas and about the same at the lakeshore. We've got 71 for Greenville and 70 for South Haven. Across the lake, it only reaches the upper 60s in Green Bay, probably 69 for a high at Ludington. That's the airport. And look over on the right side there. Look at that darker blue that shows up for the first time. That indicates where temperatures today may only be in the 50s. That's quite a change from what we've been used to here. Not a lot of warm air across the UP here over the next couple of days. Outlook for Monday looks like this. We'll be seeing our temperatures here hold in the upper 60s, probably about the same at the lakeshore. It'll be another day with a rather cool breeze coming in off the lake. The western UP starts to moderate just a little bit as temperatures climb back up into the low to mid 60s. And we'll take a look at the 5-day forecast now. That will be showing us temperatures in the low 70s today, only upper 60s for Monday and Tuesday, and then back to the mid 70s here Wednesday and Thursday, which look like a couple of really nice days. We got the chance of rain at about 30 to 40% each day here, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Little higher risk as you get toward Lake Michigan, a little lower risk as you get east toward US 127 Jackson-Lansing area. So if you're ready for a little taste of early fall, that's what we have for you here. Across the country, not much change in the 8 to 14 day outlook. We're in the average category, which would give us high temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 70s. Cool throughout the mid-Mississippi Valley and still warm down in South Texas and Florida, though they will be getting some thunder showers there, and a little bit warmer than average across the northern tier of states from northwestern Minnesota back toward western Washington state. In terms of rainfall, we've had this below average pattern here for much of the summer for most of West Michigan, and that trend will continue. The place that's most assured of seeing above average rainfall is going to be in the Pacific Northwest. And that's kind of interesting, including most all of the state of Arizona. So we'll have to see how the rains play out there in Phoenix and Tucson. So let's look at our weather. And like I said, might need a jacket here at some point in time. Now we got a couple of big anniversaries on the calendar for today. August 24th, 2023. Evening thunderstorms developed, high dew points. The National Weather Service had some of the highest dew points. We're up at in the last 60 years. Our dew points are up into the upper 70s here. There were 2 tornadoes in West Michigan. The first one went through Alpine Township, where I live. It was only a couple miles north of my house, and it was interesting. I was so excited to view tornado damage that I could not sleep that night. And I got up, it was like 5 in the morning before it got light. And I was already out taking a look at some of the damage in our area here. Marty Breckning gave me a tour of his farm where the tornado had knocked down lots of trees. And this is some of the damage. I believe this building right here is on Alpine Avenue. The tornado went right across Alpine in the evening. Path length on this one was 8.7 miles. And I believe we have one more picture to show you from the tornado here on August 24th. We have a picture of the actual tornado. By the way, in my house, we had something called rear flank downdraft on the south side of where the tornado was, and a stretch from across southern Alpine Township saw winds of about 55 to 60 miles an hour, and there were some branches down due to that as well. This is a public domain image taken by the National Weather Service. I ran into Ernie and a bunch of the guys from the Weather Service that were out viewing some of the damage too. So it was kind of a kind of an interesting experience there. And that is some of the damage in Alpine Township from the storm. The second tornado, by the way, was in East Ingham County, Williamston to Weberville. It was an EF2. Path length was 10.7 miles. It made it into Livingston County. Winds gusted with the storm to 60 to 70 miles an hour. That's thunderstorm wind gusts. The EF2 tornado, I believe, was up around 90 miles an hour, maybe even higher than that. There was lots of lightning with the storm, and 460,000, like almost half a million customers lost power statewide. So nothing like that going on this year outside of maybe an isolated water spout over Lake Michigan. We should have a pretty quiet week when it comes to heavy weather here. Okay, and one more anniversary to pass along, or one more picture to show you. Damage in Alpine Township. Again, this was over on Alpine Avenue. That's a radar image that you can see there. What's interesting, there's a little spike that's coming from the Weather Service radar, which is south of where the Comstock Park is written on the map. There's a spike that goes up where you can see a little green line going up there. That's the water tower northwest of the radar, which is blocking part of the signal. And the radar was there first, and I never understood why they put the water tower there, because it blocks the radar signal. But interesting. That was a heck of a storm that came through here. I estimated the winds in my house were about 55 miles an hour, and I thought they were as strong as any winds I'd seen in a storm since the 98 derecho that came on through. And that was pretty incredible. Okay, let's move on here. What hurricane made landfall on August 24th, 1992? If it's 1992, I know for a fact it is Hurricane Andrew. And you can see on the map where it's coming in just south of Miami. That area was just devastated. And one other thing to pass along that's interesting, this was Hurricane Andrew. Starts with the letter A. So it was the first hurricane of the season. And it was a compact monster. It doesn't have a cloud shield that goes 1,000 miles like some hurricanes do. Aaron had a pretty wide cloud shield with it. This one was more compact, and the strongest winds were right around the center, but there was a lot of damage to mobile homes, many of which truly became mobile in that hurricane, that devastating storm. Again, that made landfall. And I believe we have one more slide on this, if I'm not mistaken. This is the path of Hurricane Andrew. It was not unlike Katrina in the fact that it crossed Florida and then came in and made a second landfall up by New Orleans, and then slithered off toward the northeast, missing Michigan. Those dots indicate where the storm was the strongest, and you can see that purplish color there where the storm was really humming. But that was Hurricane Andrew, August 24 in 1992. Okay, let's move on here. I want to point out August 24th, 1992. It was, at that time, it was the most devastating hurricane in terms of dollar damage to hit the United States. It's still in the top 5. Forecasters underestimated how bad the storm would be. And again, it was only in that it was a very compact storm. So the area that had the strongest winds was not very wide compared to some other hurricanes. NOAA says they have improved hurricane forecasting since then, and yes, they have. And I think they do on the whole, a great job with hurricane forecasting. They really do. You sometimes wonder where some of your tax money goes. Well, you don't have to wonder with the Hurricane Center because they really can save lives and damage. And as they can warn people where hurricanes go. Take a look at the forecast for Hurricane Katrina 2005, 48 hours ahead of where the 48 hours before the center crossed up by New Orleans. They had that storm pegged to within, I think, something like 20 miles of where it was going to hit. So they do a great job down there. Okay, let's go on here. August 24, 1859, the Michigan Asylum opens in Kalamazoo. If you see what kind of looks like a rocket ship sticking up in Kalamazoo, some of that tower, I believe, is still there. Sources differ on the exact opening, but summer 1859. Michigan became a state in 1837, so this was early in our history. It was a leader at the time in medical care, including nursing training programs, treatment of children and teens, and outpatient clinics. The design was to maximize sunlight for patients. Still a state-run facility today. It's the Kalamazoo Regional Psychiatric Hospital. Interesting. All right, let's go on here and take a look at what else we have. This is kind of strange. August 24, 1915, Michigan enacts a bounty for rats. Michigan law paid 5 cents each for a dead rat. Oh, golly. No thanks. By the way, I did that once with my kids. We had oak worms on the trees, and I told them that if they picked the oak worms off the trees, I'd give them a penny a worm if they counted them and were honest about it. And they did, and I lost a lot of money in that exchange. They pulled off hundreds and hundreds of oak worms. But anyhow, let's get back to the rats. The rat had to be in good preservation. Why? I don't know. The rat was handed in to the municipal clerk. The clerk had to deal with disposing of the rat. Is that part of the clerk's duty? I mean, if they're a clerk today, they'd probably have a separate rat patrol. He had to turn in 5 at once to get paid. The law was repealed in 2000. So in 1999, you could still turn in a rat and wow, and get your 5 cents, I guess. As part of an effort to get rid of outdated laws, 5 cents in 1915 would be worth about $1.60 today. Still not enough for most people, I would assume. Okay, we have one more slide on this. Louisiana currently has one. It's $6 per for the nutria, an invasive swamp rat. Also in 1977, Chicago Alderman Frank Stemberg offered $1 a rat because of his infestation in his constituency. They thought rats outnumbered people in that part of Chicago. Wow. They also handed out free traps. Okay, we hand out free smoke detectors once in a while, but I haven't heard about handing out free traps for rats. Okay, all right, let's move on from the rats and whatnot and see what else we got here. We got some pictures to share with you. This one from Matt Rogers, sunset over White Lake, beautiful picture. And you can see the what looks like mid-level clouds there in between. Thanks, Matt, for passing that along to us, letting us see that beautiful scene, sunset. All right, another picture comes your way here from Bradley Taylor. In fact, I think we have 2 pictures to share from Kalamazoo Balloon Fest. You know, you think of Balloon Fest as being Battle Creek, but they have Balloon Fest here. I remember a time when on almost any calm evening in Grand Rapids, you could see hot air balloons on the horizon. The insurance got a little high, and that you don't see quite so many anymore, but that's a neat picture. I think we have one more picture to show you from the Kalamazoo Balloon Fest and Bradley Taylor. Yes, indeed. And there's about 6 of them ready to go up. And of course, there's so many different colors and designs. I love to see them coming across the sky. We used to chase balloons. I mean, I'm no good at chasing storms, but balloons don't move as fast, so we can follow those. And My kids got to know some of the balloons. That's the hot air bus, they would say. Interesting. All right, on we go. This is a campground visitor from Dave Verhoeven, and that's a pretty good sized turtle. I sometimes see turtles when I go to the Meyer Gardens. If you go on the trail to the lake on the east side of the gardens there, you can sometimes see a turtle poking his nose up in the air there. But they're incredible creatures. You get the big ones down in the Galapagos Islands. We don't have that, but we have some pretty big ones here in Michigan. I saw one on a golf course once. It looked like it was about 18 inches across, and it was right by my ball. And I kind of decided, well, I'll just kind of leave that one and take an unplayable lie. Okay, on we go. One more picture to share with you, I believe, maybe two. This one is John Scully. So we have the gulls from Scully here. And it looks like kind of a convention of them going on. They tolerate the weather pretty amazingly. They can tolerate storms and heat and cold. And eventually, if things get too tough, they move on to somewhere else. But even in some of the cool season places there where there's open water along the river and where they can find food, they might stick around here. And we have one more picture to pass along here for you. This is daughter number 3. This is really interesting. Condensation on a cup. Of course, so when the temperature reaches the dew point, some water has to come out of the air, and that can come out as condensation or dew or rain or fog, the water droplets in the air. But that's interesting. It'd be interesting to have somebody count up how many droplets there are on the cup here. Pretty interesting. Thank you, daughter number 3. And of course, she is down in a rather humid place right now. Here's a look at some caterpillars, it looks like, it's like the caterpillars have found Old Country Buffet. They are really chomping down on this leaf and having a good old time. It's kind of amazing to have food that's 10, 20 times bigger than you are, but they're having a good time there. That, of course, is up in Benzie County, where there's so many things to see. We didn't get over there coming back from Mackinac Island. We came down 75 and cut over and went toward Otsego Lake. It's a place I hadn't seen before, but had a good time there. I believe that's it, if I'm not mistaken. If you see the picture of me come up with the snow in the background there, then we're at the end of our video journey for the day. I want to thank you so much for hanging with us till the end. Have yourself an awesome Sunday. And once again, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Bill Steffen 616.